Yeah, about 5 years ago, there was a change to the rules, and you could bring kids in a little earlier. We took advantage of it and kind of segmented camp to make sure our kids stayed fresh. Um, Times have changed. Back in the day, you used to do 12 two-a-day days in a row, and you get out of camp and you're more tired than when you started. And we get so many practices, so we're going to use as much time as we can and give them time off their feet and time to rest whenever possible to try to stay fresh. No, he's full go, ready to go for camp. He's full go, ready to go for camp. Yeah, it's fine. This is kind of the normal start to the season. It's a week earlier than normal, but we've had that a couple years in a row now. I think the toughest part is just trying to schedule everything out with the early game, but we're excited to get started. I think we got a team that's hungry and has a chip on their shoulder, and they're excited to be around each other. Yeah, we got to handle it really well, and that's what I've been talking to the team about a lot. Being mature and handling it uh, as a business trip. We're going over there for one reason only, and that's to win a game. Um, it's not a bull trip that we've earned. It's just a game that we got to go focus on. We got to be disciplined on the plane as we're flying over. We got to be disciplined in the country and at the hotel, and we got to keep the first thing first over there. Um, Game two is going to be a challenge too, getting back from there and trying to get ready for a game. So we've kind of set everything up with those two things in mind. Mitch really like how our schedule sets up with 4 games and a bye, 3 games and a bye, and finish the season. So we're going to take one game at a time and try to segment the thing as well as we can. Well, we're going to announce it too deep as late as possible. Keep everything in house as much as possible, but we're going to put the guy that we think might be there first right at the beginning and try to get the team ready and let people that are challenging them come try to get them. No, the only thing you really point to is just kind of a killer instinct and an ability to finish a game. It was kind of a different thing every week. It was a punt here and PATs and field goals here and an interception here and tripping over our own feet there, and it just seemed like it was a different thing every week. A block punt, a kick return. We really keep focusing on special teams to make sure that we're formidable there. Otherwise, I think it's just a mentality, and we've been talking to our guys a lot about those things. Yeah, on the best teams, issues on the team don't even make it to the coaching staff. They get handled in the locker room. And Travis has done a good job. Q's done a good job. Garrett Nelson's probably the best leader we've had at Nebraska in a long time. So they're doing a good job managing the team and policing things from downstairs. And that accountability matters. There's one standard, and we got to continually meet that standard, and the players know that. That's the way it should be. And that's the way it has been. These 3 guys that are here have all 3 been in the program at least 4 years. Um, they've seen the ups and downs. They've also seen the progress, and they know how close we are. And I think that is really going to motivate all of us this year. Well, he's a little crazy, Sip. He's just done a good job stepping to the front and taking the reins. I think he has the respect of all the teams, so they're going to listen to him. He's been around long enough to know what the coaches expect, and he's expecting the same thing out of his teammates. He's just really turned himself into a fine football player and a good leader for us. I don't pay any attention to it. Any year you're coaching at a school like Nebraska or any of these schools in the Big Ten, there's going to be pressure to win. And, we certainly were playing catch up with a lot of teams for a long time. I think we've done a good job closing the gap, had our chances to win a lot more games than we have. It's our time to do it, and the pressure doesn't change. Yeah, what really drew me to Donnie is what I believe in from a attitude and technique standpoint on the offensive line is exactly what he coaches, and I think that change can make us a little bit better. He's done a good job getting that team, that group to be a unit and be a brotherhood. I think they've done a really good job working this offseason. We got to figure out who a couple of the guys on the front line are, but I feel good about the pieces we have. To play as a unit, to be more aggressive. Uh, that group is going to drive a lot of what we do. In the passing game, they got to protect well. In the run game, they got to create space for us. I'm not saying anything that uh, everybody doesn't know, but I think as that group goes, we're probably going to go, and Donnie's the right guy to lead that group. No, yeah, when you feel like you're doing the right things, if a complete change of course is the wrong way to go. There's always little things that we might tweak or ways for us to look to get a little bit better. Um, my role is going to change a little bit, having an offensive coordinator that I trust to take it over a little bit. But for the most part, we've been doing it the right way. It just hasn't led to the results we want yet. Um, this year's going to be different. It makes me a little sad because I like it, but it's also helped me focus on a lot of other areas that we can get better. I'm going to be able to spend more time with a lot of the other players, and it's going to be a collaboration. I'm not divorcing myself from it. We need to put our players in the best things and to give them the chance to win football games, and we'll continue to do that. He'll be wherever he wants to be. You know, that's up to him. Wherever he feels like he can help and call the best game. No, if I'm hands off, I don't know what I would do down there. So it's not like I'm going to be hands off. I'm just going to have more time to help the other two units. I just heard about that third hand. I don't know. They had one of the top offenses in the country, so and if we scored as many points as they scored last year, I don't care if we run it, throw it, or kick it. So again, we're just going to try to find the best mix and figure out how to score. About the same as it was before, Sip. It's it's just I trust that I don't have to run every offensive unit meeting now, and I don't have to do all the game planning. I can spend some time with the defense for a few days if I need to, and know that it's going to keep on the tracks and keep going in the right direction. So Whips' experience is about anybody you're going to find in football. He's seen it all, done it all. Uh, so we're going to collaborate, and I'm going to let him take it. Winning. Yeah, I think there's been a big shot in our arm in the program with some of the new faces, both as players and as coaches. They bring an energy to the team. Both those guys, Applewhite and Mickey, have done a great job managing their rooms and the personalities in their rooms, making sure that their rooms are disciplined and big part of the team. I also think we've gotten a shot in the arm from the recruiting standpoint. Both those guys love it and are good at it. They've gotten us opportunities to get some quality players that we might not have gotten before. So uh, it's been exciting for me to watch that happen. We got a lot of receivers that are capable of playing. Lost a couple key ones, especially Samari from last year. Hope he's doing well in Green Bay. Also added some in the portal and had a bunch in the program that I think are capable. You can never have too many good players, and we'll let them battle it out. And I'm sure there'll be a lot of shared time this year. I'm sure when we start fall camp, he'll take the first rep with the ones, and a lot of other guys will get reps, and we'll see who plays the best. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I think you have to adjust to the changes that are happening, and whatever changes are going to happen in our recruiting department have probably already happened to a large degree as we saw this coming. We kind of rearranged our recruiting department, and part of that was having an eye on some of the changes and potential transfers. We'll continue to look there. We'll continue to look in high school and try to build the best team we can. Yeah, it'll be interesting. I don't think any of us think that the changes are done yet. I definitely think it probably opens up some area to the west of us. We're the farthest west team in the Big Ten, and it probably opens up some area for us to try to utilize in recruiting. But we'll see where the chips fall when all the dust settles and everything is done. Welcome those guys with open arms. I've coached against both those teams a lot and know what they can bring to the table. Really want to compliment our leadership in this league for being proactive. I think that move probably ensures that the Big Ten is going to be relevant in one of the players, no matter how college football ends up falling. I can't hear you, sorry. Yeah, I talked to Chip when he was up in New Hampshire a couple weeks ago, and he was actually with Ryan Day, so you can ask Ryan about it, but welcomed him to the league, and I'm sure those guys are excited. It's probably interesting dynamics out west right now, but look forward to getting an opportunity to play those guys. The travel? Yeah, we charter big planes now, and we fly to wherever they tell us to play. So for us in the middle of the country, there's not much difference between New Jersey and California, to be honest. And another 45 minutes or hour on a plane doesn't matter. We're just excited to have them in the league. Turner's capable of playing probably all 5 spots if we need him to. We're going to rep him at a lot of those in camp, and kind of depending on who else steps forward on the offensive line, I think his spot will kind of declare itself. Yeah, I think having Donnie has really helped Bryce. There's some technique things that I think he's gotten a lot better at. He continues to get bigger and stronger. At times he played well. At other times he struggled, particularly in pass protection last year. I've seen huge improvement from him through spring and summer. I think he's hungry too. I just think we're going to come off the ball better, Sip. I'd rather run the ball and lose yardage once every 3 plays, but get a big chunk the other 2, than not come off the ball and get a yard or 2 without moving people. And I think it'll be pretty noticeable how much different it is the way that they approach, especially their first couple steps. That's going to be kind of the new way. Roster management has changed for coaches. It used to be you lose 24 seniors and you sign 24 freshmen and you try to build a team. Now I don't think you're going to know from one year to the next which position you're really going to need. We kind of had a bomb go off on us at D-line with a couple kids leaving early that we weren't expecting, and a couple kids leaving the program, and all of a sudden we're thin at D-line when we expected that to be one of the strengths coming back. We were able to go out and get a couple kids that I think make us better in the portal. So from year to year, I don't think you're going to be able to anticipate which spot you're really going to have a need at, and the portal helps you address that. Yeah, he's finishing up school right now and should be on campus very soon after we start. I don't think so. I think that's the biggest challenge that faces us. We've added a lot of new pieces, both on the coaching staff and in the locker room. And you can have a lot of talent, but that doesn't always make a team. So we have to make sure that the new kids buy into the culture that we have, that the old kids embrace the new kids. We got to become one team, one heartbeat, both as a coaching staff and as a team. And we've done a lot of work to move the needle in that direction, but there's more to be done during camp. Yeah, you know how important it is to have good leaders, and this leadership group is as good as we've had. Garrett Nelson's kind of the bell cow, and he's been the number one leader, but Nick Henrich and Luke Reimer and Travis Vokalek, Trent Hickson, Alante Brown, there's been a lot of guys that have stepped up for us. Q and Miles Farmer have both done a good job. The guys told me on the way up here, this is as close as our team they've ever seen our team. So that has a lot to do with the leadership. O'Shawn's another talented kid. We'll see how he factors in with the other 2. We felt like we needed maybe one more piece there coming out of last year to give Caleb and Garrett somebody else to play alongside of him. Excited to see what he can do in fall camp. I think off-season was kind of a surprise for him and how hard he had to work in the weight room, and I've seen improvement from him already. That being said, I'm really excited about development of Jamari Butler and Blaze Gunnerson as well, and I think that went kind of from a position of concern to one of the, if not the strongest position on our team. At the same time, possibly, but when you go through a game, it's hard to play 80 snaps and be at your best. So you really want a 3-man rotation at any of those spots, and we've got at least that. I have a lot of opinions on it. None of them matter. We're going to take whatever changes they throw at us and try to adjust to it as best possible. Yeah, we've done a good job. We got the NAPL lab with some really smart people at Nebraska. That helps us quite a bit. And talking to those guys about what's best from a sleep standpoint and a schedule standpoint has really helped us develop a plan for going over there. We're going over there earlier than was suggested. going to try to get our players to sleep on the way over there, then give them a little time and work them out without practicing and get up the next day and try to start up our week again where we left off. So we've got a plan for it. A lot of it we've gotten help from some really smart people. A couple guys that have been part of NFL teams that have gone over and played in London before. So we've tried to build the best schedule we can to have our team ready.
It's coming to a point where we, as players need to stay focused. We know where we're going.
You know, the food's interesting. There's going to be sometimes we just eat what's over there, and other times we're a little pickier. I think we'll be fine. Ireland certainly is one of the places that I think you can go where there's not going to be a step down in the quality of anything. I'm really looking forward to it. I've never been to that country before, and we're not going to have a lot of time to look around, but looking forward to the experience.
There are alignments to the group balls that I love to death, and I can't wait to see what they're going to do. Yeah, he yells at you, but
That's what we've been telling them.
listen to what he's saying.
We didn't earn a bowl trip. We didn't earn this trip. This is a business trip. We're going to get a chance to have a couple experiences while we're over there, but the focus is going over and playing a football game. Yeah, probably. We were expecting to go over there last year, and it ended up being a road game in conference week one. That was a challenge, particularly coaching against a staff that hadn't been there. We're kind of that team now a little bit with new offensive things, and that's why I don't want to talk much about what that's going to look like. But there's definitely some things I think we can adjust in camp, and we have to try to make sure we're as ready as possible for game one.
What are two or three things, and I apologize if I've been asking, what are two or three things maybe that's freed up to you since you hired Mark? Couldn't do as easily?
I've always been a guy.
There's a lot, honestly. I've been in the locker room more, around the guys more, spend a little more time with Coach Bush and Coach Shenander, been down in the weight room with the guys more, and also had an opportunity to spend a little more time with some of the people that support our program.
So I don't think everything's changed or anything's changed.
How do you like that experience?
Significant amount.
It's good. I'm a football coach. It's what I love to do. The reason I love it is being around the guys, so that part's been great. I definitely don't ever want to be just a figurehead. I love the game too much, and I love the players too much. So I'm going to have my hands in everything we do. There's probably just going to be more things that I'm able to touch.
He's a good dude, great teammate.
Or is there something about this
I always had a lot of
that may be
success.
different from your previous coach?
Any improvements, and there are a bunch, have really happened mostly because of the guys in that locker room and the leaders that we have, the guys here and some others. It's a tight-knit group right now, and I think it's a hungry group. I've said a lot. I think Nebraska should be one of the best places in the country for NIL. There's no other place that I can think of where there's one school, everybody's behind it. The passion for Nebraska football is unmatched. Everybody wants to support it and be a part of it. And we've already done really well. There's been a lot of support for our players in NIL. We need to keep getting even better. If we want to compete at the national level, we need to compete at the national level in NIL. And there's been companies, ABM being one, that have really helped us, helped our players, not helped us, to take advantage of those opportunities, and really encourage a lot of Nebraska people that want to help to look those people up and give our players more opportunities. Expertise, I don't know. I played on a lot of them in the NFL. That's pretty much the only way I stayed in the NFL for 6 years. So I played about every spot on the 4 key special teams. Bill Bush has done a great job. The effort was there for us last year. Punt team is the most important, and we did well a lot of the time on punts, but it cost us a couple games. And That's always the primary focus. We have more athletes than we've had in the past that should be able to cover kicks and block on kick returns. I'm excited about the specialists we have. Our players understand how important that is, so that's going to continue to be a focus.
How would you size up the running backs situation heading into the season?
It's a deep group, and there's going to be a lot of competition. Ramir had a really good season last year, kind of a breakout season. Jock Yant did some good things. Gabe Irvin was playing a lot until he got hurt and should be back. And we've added some new pieces with AG and AJ and Emmett. So feel good about the talent there, and they're all going to get plenty of opportunities and reps in camp. You can't get through the season with one running back, so it's got to be two or three that are ready to play, and our depth should help with that. Yeah, I think anytime you have a lead guy, you're probably better with good guys supporting him. Hopefully, we have a guy that steps up and breaks away from the pack a little bit, but it's definitely going to be a group effort at that position. I wasn't completely surprised, but I was excited for our league. I think it's a very smart thing that they did to get out in front of any changes that are being made and kind of ensure our spot in college football no matter where the dust settles. Potentially. We'll see how that works out. I think some more dominoes are going to have to fall before you know exactly the breakdown of where everything is. Potentially could open up some recruiting areas for us, though. NIL in general can be a distraction. You're asking young men to manage academics, college football, family, relationships, and now opportunity to earn money and basically have a job on top of that. There's a lot of time demands. Players have to be smart. They have to be mature in order to handle it. As long as it doesn't get in the way of their academics first and their ability to perform on the football field, I'm all for it. And they have to be smart and be good time managers.
Yeah, so I think the fans have done a lot of good things for us. So finding ways to get back to them and hang out with them, make kids.
No, I'm excited about the tight ends. Obviously, Travis, I think has the opportunity to have a huge year. I think he's got a big future in football. So he's going to be the lead. Chancellor Brewington's been a little nicked up, and he's ready to go for camp. Excited about Bork. Excited about the young guys, AJ and James. So we're pretty deep there too. We just need to figure out who the number 2 guy is behind Travis.
How to play the game the right way, how to lead. I've gone back to him and asked him questions about certain ways to lead because I've found a new role and trying to do it.
Yeah. Whip knows what he's doing. I think he's going to help these guys to understand the offense, and we're going to put him in the best position we can to try to make those kind of plays. Kenny was a special player.
Great dude, great person, and one of my best friends.
It changes everything about your roster management. It used to be complicated but manageable. Again, we're never sure before who was going to leave a year early or who might defect from your program. It's just crazy now. So you kind of have to take a look at it more often and try to figure it out. Redshirting, those decisions are probably going to be very similar. We're not going to play anybody that's going to lose the season if they're only playing a couple snaps a game. We want to keep that year for them. We usually look at it right at the end of fall camp and decide, is this guy playing or is he not? We have a conversation with them and we do it together. Redshirting is a tough deal. We talk to our players about it. You want to play and you want to be out there. That's why you came to Nebraska. But you're never as good a football player when you're 18 as you are when you're 22. So sometimes it makes sense to save that year. You know as much as I do. You know, I don't think it's done, but that's just my opinion. I would guess that it will continue to change. I don't know if it's going to happen immediately or not. You know, there's a little different landscape right now than there was a year ago, and I'm sure 2 years from now we might be saying the same thing, but who knows when it's going to come or how it's going to work. I just know the Big Ten is doing a good job putting themselves in a good position.
But he's a great player. I love watching him play. How aggressive physically he runs blocking game, and just the way he can run after he's got the ball.
Chuba's been a neat kid to be around. I actually got to spend some time with him this summer and work some mechanics with him, and I've seen real improvement from him. He looked good when he got his time at the end of spring, so I'm sure he'll be one of the guys trying to chase Casey down and see if he can compete. I think he's working it out. You know, it's hard to follow anybody if you haven't been in a game with them yet. You know, you kind of got to earn your respect to some degree. I think he's done as good a job as he can do filling that role without having been there and been in the trenches with the guys yet. No, you're asking me to guess. We'll see how practice plays out.
We're versatile, athletes. I love it. I love having another full offense. We got another everything. We got another routes. We got another protection.
We'll see. I don't know. You know, it was good. I think we got a lot of people at Nebraska, Trev and I, that are both working as hard as we can to make this program as good as we can make it. And it's great having other people that understand a little bit about what made Nebraska great in the past. So look forward to more collaboration. Yeah, I think one of the unfortunate things about a lot of transfers is, at least up to this point, people graduate less often when they transfer. The grass isn't always greener somewhere else. We're just stuck in a litigious time where you can't really take those rights away from anybody, and I agree with it. People should have the opportunity to go be where they want to be and be playing where they want to, but they're not all positive results when you make those changes. And education certainly is the most important thing that our players are at a university for, and I hope the opportunity to graduate and get a degree doesn't get affected. It's hard to track all of it, but I know one thing for sure: if our coaches or players are out and about in the state, you guys are going to find them. So, Nebraska that's the good and bad in Nebraska, and it's great to have our players and coaches be able to interact with fans and go out and do some of those things. NIL has certainly given more opportunities to do that. Say it again, sorry. I think it's probably different for every one of them. There's been a couple that I think really benefited from a summer conditioning program with us, as hard as Zach has those guys working. Some others that maybe the most important thing was just get them integrated with the team and make them feel at home. The biggest challenge overall is making sure you fit all the pieces together and you have a team. You just don't have a collection of players. I think we have more talent than we've had, but it's got to become a team. And that, like I said, that goes for the coaching staff and the football team.